So, for those of you who are wondering what's going on, I am Minimark. I have another channel that I don't ever use, and I do a weekly podcast for my fantasy football league. And I decided I would do a little pre-show so that my league mates can show up if they choose to watch it live. Sometimes people show up live. Sometimes they like to instead not. So in case anybody is like, oh look, a VOD of somebody playing this game, now you know what's going on. If you're in the league, what's up? I figured this is probably a pretty decent way to give you guys a chance to show up besides the coming soon screen and all that, because it's just kind of, you know, a pain. So, as I'll probably just put this in the VOD right away, and everything. Damn it. Jerks. This game is Undermine. It is a roguelike game where you are somebody who goes into mines. I know, surprising considering the name. And the way the game works is you go into the mine and you get gold. The more gold you get, the better you can upgrade items and stuff like that, as most roguelike, I think it's roguelike, right? This is the correct name for it. But typically what they do and stuff like that. And a lot of what you're going to get is golden items. So your items are your canary friend who upgrades as you go along. So the canary starts at level 1, which is just kind of absolutely garbage. But if you let the canary bot pick up some of your gold, as you saw there, I was just defending my gold from those little green guys. They don't hurt you or anything. They're just annoying and they steal your gold and run off with it. So if your canary's just kind of flying around doing its thing, it'll earn XP and it'll upgrade to level 2. It moves a little bit faster. And any gold that it picks up is worth a little bit more. So again, you want to be then defending your canary as it picks up gold instead of you doing it yourself. If you're speed running, you don't care about the canary. And then if you upgrade it far enough, eventually the canary literally is unstoppable. Pilfers, or so it says, Pilfer Spirit. It becomes just zips around, collects all the gold. You literally never have to worry about gold again. It'll pick it all up. It'll be worth more, and you'll never have to worry about getting stolen. Because if it's going to get stolen, he'll just yeet the pilferers away and steal the gold from them. So the main items you have in the actual dungeon. So there's 4 things you have to know. Bombs. Use them to destroy rocks and stuff like that. So like if I want to blow up this rock because I thought there was a secret tunnel underneath it, I drop a bomb on it, it'd blow up. Or if there's like a series of rocks like this over here, I'd drop a bomb here, it'd blow up a couple rocks, I could go inside. You can also use them to blow up walls. So if there's a secret tunnel behind it, it'll be there. Typically you'll see like them being shiny, like these are shiny. They'll be like all shiny here or here or here, and it'll be like, oh sweet, so I get to go inside there. The other thing is keys. They open locked doors. That's pretty easy. The 2 currencies in the game are thorium and gold. Gold you can use to upgrade items and stuff like that. Thorium allows you to unlock new artifacts or whatever these things are called. And you can get like a ton of them. So, you might get them out of chests. You can get them from various areas. Most levels will have an area that looks like this. That basically indicates that if you go in there, there's going to be a chest. When you open it, there's either going to be a chest or just like an artifact thing just sitting there hanging out. And right now, I have it set up so that I have popcorn, so sometimes items duplicate themselves. So if like a key is in a room or it drops into a room or something like that, it might land and then a second one will pop out, which is pretty cool. It makes it a lot easier to stock up on this. I have strength, so I deal more swing damage. That's this. This is range damage. And leftovers. So when I pop open this chest, boom, I have a slice of meat. Which is good because I had to as you saw, take some damage to get to that chest there. And I pick that up, I eat it, my health goes up. Oh, one other thing, there's potions. You drink the potions, they do something good or whatever. So I'll take that bomb, and then what is this potion over here? Drop a random chest. As I take a bunch of damage I didn't have to. Alright, so this is annoying. It gave me a chest that I actually have to break into. It was covered in rock, so I used bomb to open it. And then I gained 100 health back, so that helps out a ton. Just gotta do that. So you'll sometimes see the pilfers get a little red exclamation point above their head. That just means that they were targeting a particular piece of... Ah, shoot. I messed up my timing. They were targeting a particular piece of something. Gold or whatever they were trying to steal from you. Typically, I think it's always gold, actually. So they're targeting that piece of gold, and then I was like, nope, I'm out, peace. I sold the gold from you. You don't get to keep the gold. I get to keep the gold. And that means that I get the gold, and they don't. So they get upset. The exclamation point, they turn around, they run off. And there's only so many pilferers that can be on a screen at once. So, if you know, steal the gold from them and defeat them and stuff like that, eventually they'll just stop showing up. So rooms with the candle, you pray. So you can do, maximum health, hardiness, so healing is more effective, exuberance, faster swing speed, or penance. So this here means you get a curse. So you get more health, but you get a curse. You can only use one of these, so I can't do toughness and then pay 50 life to do the thing. So I basically have to pick which of these I really want. And then I have to deal with the consequences. So for now, I think I'm going to just take maximum health. And I have throw speed now. So as you might have noticed, this is a little bit slower. But luckily, if I'm fighting over near a wall, if it hits the wall, it comes back pretty fast. So I'm just going to try to abuse that if I can. Other than that, this game's a lot harder to play when I'm trying to talk. I'm totally blaming that. Also, sometimes you'll see these cool little crystal boys. If you break them, it gives your weapon a elemental enchantment. So this one, now for the next minute, I'll have fire available on my attacks. So when I hit stuff, it'll get fiery. I haven't got a single thing yet, so it might not be every time that I hit something, but it should occasionally proc things being on fire. These things are annoying. Alright. Weird. Why? Yeah, so see, that was like the popcorn effect. Oh, nothing's so a thing for me. Yes, I'm losing a bunch of gold right now, but it is worth it for upgrading the canary, because eventually it does get pretty good. And I also like the, it's kind of cool that it's like, oh, the canary in a coal mine. Let me just read this quick before it goes away. Yeah, so that didn't work, I don't think. Oh, these guys suck. So they move slow, they're really weak, but if they hit you, they poison and slow you. And there's typically a lot of them, so they'll just kind of try to swarm you. But not a problem for me right now. Really hoping at some point they'll give me a, no, I got stuck because I'm an idiot. Really hoping at some point they'll give me a key. Oh, so this guy's gold, which is, he's like a reverse pilfer. So he's just gonna, the more I hit him, he'll just keep dropping gold. So I'm just gonna ignore all the obstacles in the area and just try to get all of that. And now I'm gonna run around and kill all the stuff that was hurting me while I was trying to fight that thing. That wasn't the best little treasure boy, but whatever. Oh my god, it's so slow. This curse is very annoying. Not difficult, but annoying. I'm just going to go to swinging, because I can clear that whole area off. So that's a shopkeep right there. But I can't get to it, because it needs a key. So I can't get to the shop. to buy a key because I don't... See, this is the magic wall I was talking about. Because I don't have a key to get to it. Alright, so this is neat. Grabbing this. Doop, doop, doop. Grabbing this. So this chest is a chest. It has an item in it. Or something good in it. But it also has a curse. And it costs a bomb to get to, but I would really like a key. So that's a blessing. Alright, so I don't know what this actually does. What did that even do? Alright, cool. I'm just gonna move on. So that definitely has a cool thing in it, but I'm gonna come here and hope and fail. I was really hoping... Oh, cool, get rid of a curse. Awesome. Get some health. Awesome. I was really hoping he would have a key as one of his items instead of that transmute or whatever. Oh, these guys suck. They're lurkers. You may recognize them from, you know, StarCraft and whatever. Oh, cool. Secret tunnel was revealed for me. That's pretty neat. If I can be accurate with this thing at all. Alright, no. Another key. I need that. Alright. So now I can go back and get that. This is just a really bad secret tunnel room. Kind of makes me think there's like a secret under these. No. So that wall is sparkling. So sometimes when you're in secret rooms, they have additional secret rooms. But if you look at the map, that'll just put me into the room with the merchant. And I don't really care about that. I don't care about the merchant. So I'm just going to carry on and go all the way back to the start. Because that's a guaranteed really strong item. So, you know, one of these guys down here. It's really annoying that I couldn't get it before. But here it goes. Meal ticket. Perfect. So what this does is meal ticket says if you are in a place where you can buy an item, there will always be free food. Which is great because food's super useful, especially when you're playing like garbage. I mean, this is very early on in the dungeon, and I'm already at like almost half health. But as you can see, free food, perfect. I'll take my 50 health, and I'll leave because I don't know what the hell the transmute thing does. I don't know if it like transforms something in the room into something else or what. But I don't care enough to stick around to find out. So let's just collect up my things and jump downstairs. Alright. So level 3. Oh, there's this little skeleton man. Nothing in him. Fine. Then I'm just gonna beat the crap out of him and not care. So this is cool. They're all the gold is trapped back there, so no one can get to it, so I don't have to worry. It's just free experience for my boy. So I have this potion here, which makes it so that my canary gets bonus XP for about a minute and a half. So I'm going to save that for if I get to a chest that I know is going to have a ton of gold in it. I'll chug that and then just go to town on the pilfers as they show up. Oh, that was disappointing because that was really quick. Which means that now every level basically will have one room that's just like guaranteed to have a blessing in it, and then they'll have a merchant in it. And so if you do something like that where there's like 2 ways out of the initial area and you're just like, oh sweet, I'm gonna go this way instead of that way, just screw it. It's worth it to run all the way back, even if it does cost you some health. Alright, so these rats, the black ones make it so that other rats are stronger, so it's annoying when there's a bunch of them. So yeah, so as you can see, there's that there. I'm just gonna I was really hoping that. So that's just a pilfer that has a bomb inside of them. They're really neat because if you can do it right, you can make them come over to a certain area and then be like, "Ah, sick! You're over near this thing that I want to blow up. Blow it up, please!" And you save yourself from having to spend a bomb on it. Um, Also, spikes. There's a few different variations of them. While I'm waiting for the canary, there's ones like this that go up on a timer, and there are ones that trigger when you step on them. And holy crap! So like that one is one that goes up only when you step on it. That was intentional. And then there are ones that are always up. So that's like, you know, the 3 ways that those can go. And the best thing about it is that anything can trigger them. So you'll just be like hanging out, like trying to walk somewhere, and then something steps on the thing, and suddenly you're just like, oh great, now I have this issue where the spikes just popped up underneath me, even though I didn't really want them to. Did I not get a key right there? Did I use the key to get in here? Because if I did, that's really dumb. I thought I picked up a key. Well, that works too. And I'll just drop a bomb there, open this up, because I got 1 billion bombs right now. Sick. I do see the secret. I'm just trying to defend my loot right now. Drop that. Boom. Let's go in here. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Alright, this is probably worth it. So that's 1 level. So now it's going to collect. So before those nuggets, that shape and everything, there were 10. So now they're worth 12, which is even better. And, you know, it's basically like an extra 20% of your gold. So that's real good. Big fan. Huge fan. So I'm just going to beat the crap out of these guys as they try to steal my stuff. But eventually they will stop spawning. Like right now. Perfect. So the canary can get that last one. Still got 30 seconds left, so we can collect these. I actually picked that up with my axe, but it's okay. Alright, so I have 1 key. So, and I have 3 very good locked doors. I think I'm going to go into the merchant shop, because the merchant can have like a key ring. Which has like multiple keys on it to buy. And I'm just going to really hope... Alright, that's fine. I'll buy that. Yeah, I don't need to buy health right now, but more secret rooms is better. So a lot of the items have different things. Some of them are really good for you to have in the early game, so like the one that helps you find more items, get more gold, stuff like that. Those are really super useful to get. Others, like if I got that and I was like about to die and I'm near the end, there's no reason for me to pick that up because it helps me discover more secrets. But if I'm already dead, basically, and I'm like about to end the game, using up the gold that I take with me, like, cause when I die, the canary takes the gold up and gives it to my next of kin, who then proceeds down into the tunnels themselves. So yeah, it depends on how you want to handle it. So like right now, this is really good, but later on in the game, I'd be like, I don't want to bother with this. It's not really worth it. And some of them are really expensive, with like thousands and thousands of gold. And if you're just playing and you're just like, well, I don't want to spend thousands of gold on some nonsense that isn't going to be helpful. But then some stuff is just always helpful, like, you know, stuff that's going to increase the amount of damage you do or reduce the amount of health that you lose on when something bad happens. Ah, sweet. It's my friend Bobo. So Bobo just runs at you no matter where you are. And he's really good at being annoying. But he's also really useful if you think there's a secret somewhere. And he'll eventually just kill himself. You can hit him. You can make him die if you wanted. But yeah. I'm a big fan of him because he saves me bombs if I'm like, oh, maybe I'll have... Like, I was trying to make him run into each wall once. So if there was a secret, he would open it up for me. And save me from having to bomb or just missing something. So that room, I know what that is. That room is for the next level. So I don't need to worry about that. Oh my god. Alright. Well, my mask is up to +9 damage right now. And so what the mask does, I don't know if you guys, I don't think I explained it. What it basically does is it says, hey, every time you kill somebody temporarily on like your kill streak, you get more damage. So like I'll slowly rack up like that's 2 more damage, 3 more damage, 4 more damage. This guy just killed himself down here, so that was fun. So it's really good when you have like a lot of very tiny enemies, because you can kind of ramp it up. But I'm not really looking to hang out and just kind of watch my numbers go up. Damn, I was trying to punt it up against the wall just in case. Alright, so he doesn't attack unless you provoke him. He is always hostile, so you can't end the level with him still on the map. But, yeah. You can have some fun with him. Like making him get hit by literally every single arrow, or making him run into the pit and fall. And then he dies. Alright, so it looks like there's not a ton going on in this, like, literal, like, mine level. Oh, I like that one. So this increases a bunch of stuff around throwing. So health and, oh, it's swing damage on attack speed. I thought it was throw. Never mind. But increases health and stuff like that, so that's always useful. Alright, now I'm going to get my free food at minimum. Key I'm probably fine on. I will take the kebab. And then I don't have any potions, and protein shake is pretty good. It literally just makes you drop a bunch of like meat around you. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So is anybody here? Because I'm looking in chat and I don't see anybody. If no one's here, that's fine. I'm just enjoying talking, and you guys are gonna see this all in the VOD later. I'm assuming no one but the Fantasy League is actually gonna like show up and care, but it's still interesting for me to do this. I'm still having a good time. That takes 3 keys to open. That's got to be good, right? Holy butts. That is good. No. Leave my gold alone, please. Dang. That was annoying. Lost a lot of gold there, but my canary is getting slowly stronger, so hopefully that'll be good. Yeah. Whoops, there's some gold in the wall there. I almost missed it. But yeah, it's I think this is a pretty good game. It's pretty cheap. It's like an indie developer or something like that. Thorium, I think, is the name of the developer. Oh. Look at that freaking split I did there. But yeah, it's a pretty neat game. I would suggest it. I might do this as like a run while I'm waiting for the people to show up in chat, if they end up showing up in chat. It looks like no one's showing up in chat today, which is interesting, as I get distracted trying to see if there's anyone in chat. Whoops. But yeah. Undermine on Steam. It seems cool. Check it out. Oh, sweet. Secret tunnel. Oh, ho, ho. This is really cool. I like this. So now I can just let my little canary friend do whatever he wants, because I don't know how many more of these dudes are going to try to spawn. Jerks. Stay away. Dang it. I thought they would stop spawning, and then they didn't, so I lost a bunch of gold. And almost just got murked on. So that's neat. I'll take the free food. Nom 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 nom. Drop a random chest. I'd love a random chest. It's the basic chest. Annoying, but whatever. Oh, and it dropped another random chest in a bottle? Can I just go infinite? Oh, that's a trap. That's annoying. But, free food, whatever. Alright. It looks like there's no one showing up tonight. Annoying, but understandable. It is a Saturday night. It was unannounced. It was unplanned. And it just kind of came out of nowhere with a lot of people having Slack muted because, you know, it's Saturday night. If you don't want your phone constantly blowing up about random nonsense in football, then that's a smart thing to do. So, ain't even mad. Is there any way any of this is gonna have... No, it's not. That sucks. Alright, well, I guess there's no keys in existence at all in this game. So that's annoying. I'll probably go one more level, and then we can have some fun. Just because I like the music in the next one. This is weird. Why is that already an open chest? I feel like this is like a secret room. Or some like weird setup for a secret room. But I'm too dumb to figure out how to like fix it. I mean, I have a billion bombs, so if I blow this stuff up, if I make it dark. Okay, I don't know. I'm not smart enough. I want to move on. Oh, I didn't see the imp. Two health. You dick. Alright. No, I gotta get my boys. My golden boys. Leave. Leave. It's my gold, you jerks. Alright. Doop doo doo doo. So, you know, enemies are just kind of enemies. You can kind of figure out what they do. These bitches, though, are very annoying. They don't actually do anything normally, except if you try to damage them when they're doing their electrification dance, they just do damage to you. So I have to like sit here and wait, and then I can finish them off. Now I'll play defend the gold for a minute. I'm like halfway through level 2 of the canary. Whew. Drop that. What do we got? 2 keys. This thing is locked. I'm gonna unlock it. That sound probably means nothing happened. Or something happened that is not good. Great. Alright. So let's go in here. Is this gold popcorn? Nice. So gold will now occasionally duplicate itself. Very good at this point, because I have a lot of levels probably I'm going to be able to survive for now. Issue is I have a locked door that would be able to get rid of my curse. But for now, let's just... Oh, you're gonna buff that guy? Cool. That's fine with me. No, I need that. Come back. You tasty boy. I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna sit around playing a game right now. Whoa, oh, ho, 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 the poppin' corn times. Once you pop, you get popped. Alright, please have a key. Please have some keys. Nothing here is a key. And this is useless right now. It's good, it's just useless right now, because again, it's increased familiar XP gain. I'm pretty much almost done, so it's not going to be useful at all for me, so I'm not going to spend the money on it. Alright, destroy some signs and some stuff, try to get some loot. Oh! Let's see if it's anything good. All that stuff's fine, but I'd rather pay a little bit of life, get rid of that, increase my maximum health by a bit, and then move on with my life. Doop doop burp burp burp. Oh, you jerk. I hate you. Come back. Well, that also works, I guess. Just run into your own stuff, dude. It's like, oh, look, an enemy. Just get fucking yeeted into the next county. That works for me, dude. Have fun with that. Alright. This is gonna be annoying. Sick. Alright. Come on, Canary. Hurry up. You got like a quarter of your experience for your life left. Some good popping though. Good popcorn time. Oh, that one's gone forever. Annoying. Take my free meat. Sick. Keyring. 2 rings. Take some health. I don't want to spend that much on that right now, because I already have the protein shake, which is kind of the same thing, except you have to pick it up. But if I get lucky and I get like the ability to do fire attacks and stuff like that, you can actually make the raw meat into, you know, cooked meat. So that's good. Sick. Drink this. Pick this back up. Get a ton of meat and bombs and stuff. Perfect. See, everything's going well right now. A little light down here than I would like to be. I'd like to have a couple more of those. But I don't want to get too greedy, so... Oh, I hate you so much. So basically what the imp does is whenever it claps, it sends out fire underneath where you are. And the radius is just big enough that if you're not... Like, if you stop for a second to swing while during the clap, he's just gonna end you. Well, not end you, but he's gonna do a good chunk of damage. Thing that I don't understand is you have these knights who are supposed to be defending this dungeon in a room with like evil imps and druids and stuff like that. Like, why aren't you helping me kill those things and being like, oh, thanks, dude, you're such a bro. Like, I even have the key to their like secret hideout. So like that's how I got down here to begin with. So like, what the hell's your problem, dude? I'm clearly not a trespasser if I have a key. I mean, it's not necessarily true, but oh, let's go downstairs. Alright, let's go see what I get. Alright. So that one's pretty cool. Whenever I pick up gold, or gold is picked up, rather, it electrifies enemies in the area. So, like, for example, well, I can't do it right now because none of these guys are, like, quote-unquote enemies, but you get it. Alright, please stop. Thank you. So, yeah. Yo, we were done. We talked about this. Alright, recover some health. Free drinks. Sick. Alright. So this is 4 for the dungeon, and then the next level has the music I like. So once I get there, I'm going to stop, and we're going to do the Horsehead Weekly. Alright, so that drops a random chest, so I'll pick that up in a second. I'll also drop that there, so I don't forget. Definitely don't want to use that yet. Alright, this guy's going to have a ton of gold. And as good as it would be to get my boy up one more level, I really didn't want to waste all that gold and everyone's time. So I have to light all these. I don't have the ability to do that because I don't have any fire going on. There are some like curses and stuff that like drop fire into rooms, and some like good abilities that give you the ability to do stuff with fire. Blah blah blah. I don't have any of that, so I can't actually light anything on fire. So I can't get the bonus out of there. I thought I was out of range of you. Alright. Well, I guess I'm taking a little damage there. So there's 2 fighting techniques in this game. You might have seen me switch back and forth sometimes. Primarily, I like using ranged weapons, even though they're a little less damage, and they're a little bit less consistent, and they like take away time that you can be doing stuff. I just prefer it because it lets me not have to really worry about somebody just like bum rushing me or something. I can just kind of kite pretty easily, just kind of run around, do my own thing. And if they want to come at me, they can come at me, but... Alright, sick. Screw you, trying to take my gold. Yeah, heal that rat up. That is the ticket there. It is not attacking the guy with the axe who's just running around murdering things. Nah. Heal up that rat that took one little bit of damage. Alright. Just, can you do me a favor and hurry up, Canary? Really like you be top level. So I can just, you know, have you do all the hard work. Deal more swing damage at high health. So this one's going to have a number on it, similar to the mask, or the war paint, rather. I don't have any nonsense going on right now. I'll do that. Oh, sick. Nothing I want, and everything costs double. Shooty pooty. That sucks. Alright. Free food. Sick. Everything costs double. I'm not buying anything. This is dumb. Not buying anything right now. Not spending double the money on it. Like, it wasn't like there was anything in there that was like game breaking, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is so good. I need this right now. It was all just kind of fine. Alright, so 2 talismans that get rid of curses. Alright, now you get to see the final form of this bird as it just runs around beating the ever-loving crap out of things. I'm just going to take this. So when you see... So this has like a fixed things that it could be. Where the purple flames, those can be anything. They can be super, super good. They can be basically nothing. They'll always give you a curse, but they could be really sick. That time, not really sick, just kind of nonsense sadness, but hey, whatever. Alright, so now that I've been doing this for 40 minutes or something ridiculous like that, get into this spooky music. Yeah, we'll do that. Alright, and we will switch over to the Horsehead Weekly, week number 6. Thank you guys for coming along. It is absolutely fantastic to have you here once again. As I said, this is week number 6 of the Horsehead Weekly. A little bit of a surprise episode to be thrown out at you. You know, it's my schedule is a little bit hectic at this time. I was buying a car, had a lot of stuff going on. But now that I got that all out of the way, I am here. I am ready to go. So let's get this started as we enjoy a little bit of Undermine music in the background. Hopefully I don't get copyright nonsense for this, but hey, you know, whatever. It's good music. I enjoy it. I'm not making money off of these videos anyways, so let's jump into it. And as always, we got to go fast because I've spent a lot of time playing a game instead of actually talking to you guys. So, starting off, what we have going on, we have last week. Jerry and myself, we were the game of the week. I thought that I was going to be able to get a win because his team was didn't put up a ton of points, only less than 130. Typically, I'd be able to take care of that. But my team actually did nothing. You know, Shady McCoy did next to nothing. OBJ did next to nothing. My tight end, Tyler Eifert, I thought, hey, against Arizona, an absolutely garbage team, he'll be good. Nope, absolutely crap the bed. So my team ended up going from 4-1 with you know, way ahead in my division, looking really good with a 1-0 record against divisional opponents. All of that, and yep, I just pooped myself. And then you know, lucky for Jerry and also lucky for Tyler, they both played people who did very, very poorly this week. Literally the bottom two, when they themselves did not do very well. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. On the other end of that spectrum, we had Matt M. Poor guy. He ended up getting decimated by Run CMC, run by Mike. Mike's team is beginning to look more and more dominant every single week, and it's going to be really hard for him to lose a week that isn't Christian McCaffrey's bye week. They're just feeding him the ball constantly, and he has like 40 points a week. He is single-handedly putting him way up and above. Not to mention the fact that he has done a good job managing his team with both waivers and trades, and he has made himself a very good team this year. So, you know, good job for you, Mike. You made it work. You got yourself into an absolutely bonkers position at this point. The other matches, you know, not really anything crazy. Team that scored a good amount of points beat team scoring a bad amount of points. Yeah, most of the teams this week that won, with the exception of Mike versus Matt M, the team who had less wins ended up winning. So that's just a little interesting tidbit for you guys. There was only one team that was ahead in the standings beforehand that ended up winning. So just, I don't know, I thought that was kind of neat. And speaking of standings, here we are. We have Julio forever with Jerry. Jerry ends up taking the lead with that 2-0 division record. leaving myself and Doug to play in the first half of the round robin, or the first half of the double round robin rather, and see if we can end up doing something good with that. Maybe make ourselves into some pretty good, a pretty good team in the division, looking for that second place in that wild card spot. Over in Kathy's Kids, we have a three-way tie there as well, with 2 and 3 being the way it is looking right now. By the way, I know it looks weird, and it's because it is weird. It should be Matt S on top, then Malcolm, then James, but for now, that's just how it's populating. We'll deal with that later. For the insiders, everyone's already played each other in the first round robin, so that's pretty easy to put down with 2 2 and 3s, and then the 1 and 4. So it just goes Nick, Dave, and Matt M for that one. And then finally in the outsiders, we have the new guy Sean at 4 and 1, getting his first loss of the year last week. So welcome to the league. You got your first loss. Now we'll see what you can actually do. We have Mike going on a 3-game run to move himself up to 4 and 1, and we have the little poo that could of Tyler slowly starting to claw his way back up out of all that bad luck, getting some good luck this week, grabbing that win despite scoring a little bit on the low end, but he did pretty good, and that puts him at 2 and 3 and just outside of the wild card hunt. So interesting thing to note on this page, just I want to point something out real quick. The points for is absolutely crazy banana pants, as is the points against. So for the points for, you see a lot of people in the mid 600s. Everyone's kind of doing about the same for that. And then you get down to the bottom and you have the entire Outsiders division just kind of hanging out on their own with almost 700 points for Sean. 750 almost 700 points for Sean, 820 points for Mike, really going hard trying to get that belt for a second year in a row, and Tyler coming in at 700 points. And then if you look at the points against, there's really 3 names that jump out. The 3 names with over 700 points against so far. We have Tyler, who's had his bad luck. We've had Mike, who has played against very, very good teams and have given them bad luck because he's just been beating people who have been spiking against him because his team's just been better on that given week. And then finally, I feel really bad for Matt M. He has been playing about on average with everybody else in the points for category. He just has been absolutely running into just buzzsaws week after week after week. So I feel kind of bad for you, dude. And then at the other end of the spectrum, we have Jerry and Doug, both with the easiest season so far, as well as Sean, who, he has both putting up a lot of points and also not playing a lot of people. That's how he ended up getting himself up to 4 and 1. So that's what's going on with the standings. Let's move on to the Eliminator. I don't know what that was. I don't like it. I'm going to do something different next week. So for the Eliminator this week, 4 people ended up getting a strike, as we had the minimum number of people to get 4 strikes. And there were several people with their lives on the line, and one of them was James, and he ended up coming in third from the bottom of the people left alive, and because we were giving out 4 strikes, that was enough to give him a strike. He ends up getting eliminated after week number 5, locking in 9th place, which means we now have 8 teams left alive, so 3 people will get a strike next week. And if we get the perfect multi-kill of Malcolm, myself, and Matt S., we will be in a situation where we will immediately be down to 5 players and down to 2 strikes. And it'll be basically clean slate at that point. But I don't think that's how it's going to end up going. I think that those 3 teams are both fairly talented and can get around that. At least one of them should. I'm hoping it's me, but we'll see. The cut line this week was Sean. He ended up putting up just enough to keep himself afloat for another week. And the winner of the week for the 3rd week out of 5 was Mike. He's only had 2 weeks where he wasn't the top point getter. 1 week he was in 3rd, and the other week he was middling, but he's just absolutely crushing it up there. So that's one more person eliminated. So James, Jerry, Nick, and Matt M all gone in the bottom 4 spots, and now we are down to the Elite 8. and we will see how they end up going in the future. One more thing. If you look at the bottom, it was high point week, low point week, high point week, low point week, high point week. So I'm assuming this week a lot of people are going to be putting up pretty bad scores. So it could be looking good for teams that aren't as good. Maybe they can have their spike week against somebody who isn't good. Or maybe it's a pattern that isn't going to hold. Who knows? Whatever. Who cares? Let's move on to Roto World. Yes, Roto World. That's right. I just need to do a thing. Yeah, never mind. I guess I'm not changing my directory in Twitch. Sorry, Twitch. Please don't ban me. Yeah, let's just do that just in case, because I forgot to switch back from Undermine to just chatting. So let's go dashboard. So while I'm doing this, Roto World. So for the quarterbacks, we have Tyler in first place. He has had Patrick Mahomes for most of his time here, but he does not anymore. So we'll see if he'll be able to keep that top spot. But he has two people close on his heels. Is it just chatting? No, I'm more like a podcast. Yeah, talk show and podcast. I'm gonna go. That's what I am. So yeah, in the quarterback position, we have Tyler, Sean, and Dave M. They've all been putting up very, very good points so far this season, and let's see if they can pull themselves ahead in that category. Over in the running backs, we have Mike, who has been putting up absolutely bonkers numbers because he has CMC on his team. If he can just keep this up, it's going to be really hard to get 15 points in the running backs because he is just on another plane of existence right now. Dude is absolutely going off. But a lot of people are trying, and remember, there's still a lot to fight for, even if it's just a couple points here or there, because they do matter in the end. Moving on then, we go to wide receivers, where again, we have Mike near the top, but not with that dominance he had before. He has Jerry right behind him, with his Julio Jones and company. Going on, and then he has Nick also, kind of not right there, but in the same ballpark. And then sadly, we have myself second to last, all the way down at the bottom. Even though I went 0 RB, I have terrible wide receivers because the wide receivers I drafted haven't been playing up to their potential yet. But hopefully, I can recover later on in the season with that. Over in tight ends, we have Matt S. at number 1 with Sean and Doug right behind him. That's going to be a really tight race that I think is going to continue for a little bit. Let's see how that ends up working out. Then we move on to the defenses where we have Doug and Sean as the two defensive line people. Myles Garrett is good. I think that's pretty safe to say. And I don't know who Doug has. I think it's the guy, one of the Minnesota guys. So, both playing very well this season. Over in linebackers, we have quite the scrum going on. A lot of people very, very close. With Matt M, myself, Tyler, Mike, Malcolm, and even Matt S all holding on to that top near the top there. I think that's going to be really interesting to see how that works out, as linebackers are very volatile. They can have these huge weeks, but they can also just be very, very good consistently. So curious to see how that's going to work out. And then finishing off the defenses, we have Matt S. in first place with his defensive back, followed by Malcolm, Nick, and Mike, all being in that same general area. And then we move over to kickers, and my kicker hasn't been able to keep up. So sadly, I have slipped from 15 points down to 8. But I am still within striking distance of Tyler at number 1, Matt S., and Malcolm at number 3. Which brings us to how we are sitting this season, and it's not really hard to believe. Mike's putting up so many points week after week. He's playing so well at this league. It's not hard to imagine he was going to be number 1, and he is with 2 first places. Tyler is very close behind, only 4 points back, and he also has 2 first places and 0 points at his defensive back, and only 2 at tight end. So a little bit of waiver wire work or something like that could definitely turn that around for him. And I believe he has traded for Kelsey maybe Ertz, somebody like that. I think it was Kelsey. And Mike is traded for Ertz. That'll be really interesting to see those two duke it out near the top. But also within striking distance is Matt S. Also with 2 categories being 1 and very, very, very strong at the kicker position. And then finally, Sean is also in the same general area. He does not have any wins, but he has 3 categories he's in second place in, and several categories he's in the middle. So that is being very, very helpful. And then down at the bottom, we have Jerry, who only has 2 top half positions right now, second place at wide receiver and 4th place for defensive lineman. Everything else, he is near the very, very bottom. So, he, Dave M., they are very far behind, but anything can happen as the season drags on. They can definitely turn it around with some good trades, something happening, some good waiver wire picks up, some injuries maybe coming for some people who are near the top. So very, very good looking out for them. Moving on, we are having our first ranking, which I guess he's so low, he doesn't even get into the rankings area. He just kind of gets thrown up this early. So, hey, I'm not going to argue with the way the rankings are. So at number 13, we have Malcolm. Last week, he was number 5. His last 3 weeks, he has scored actual 0 points, which gives him 69th in the league, which is high AF for his variations on how many points he's scoring with standard deviations and stuff like that. And basically, his team is just garbage from top to bottom. He has a geriatric Tom Brady. Who has ever heard of a quarterback performing well at the age of 40, let alone 43, I think he is now, maybe 44. No doubt that he was going to be absolute garbage. Brandon Cooks got bonked on his noggin, so he's absolutely useless. Scary Terry, not because he's scary for other teams, because he's scary for Malcolm, because he's playing for Washington, and they have an absolutely horrid team this year. Speaking of horrid teams, the Browns, I'm going to get more in depth on them later, but he's got Nick Chubb on the team. And then he has a pair of running back by committees also on his team, with both Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber, and then Singletary and Gore. Those are nice, but if they're all splitting time 50-50 at best, you're not really going to get much out of it. And then for his tight end, he has O.J. Howard, who barf. Anyone who thought he was going to be good this year is an absolute moron. Dude hasn't even been worth being drafted at this point. So if anyone spent like a high pick on him, just absolutely abysmal decision making on their parts. To the point where he has to start Rhett Ellison instead. Congratulations on catching less than half of your targets for less than 5 yards per target. That's great. That's definitely going to work out for you, Malcolm. And then he has other people like Josh Jacobs, who's not even playing football right now. Like he doesn't even have an opponent. Like, what is going on? You can't score points if you're not playing anybody. And then he has Ito Smith, who is the second string running back for Atlanta. Like, all right, cool. Again, not somebody who's actually playing football, just a guy who's like on the bench. He's not even a starter. So basically, Malcolm seems absolute trash. I would love to play it every single week because it's definitely going to put up 0 points every week, as you can see. It's a 69th ranked team in the league for points for. It's just absolute garbage. So that is Malcolm at number 13. Okay. So he was so bad he got pushed all the way before this week's matchups, which are right here. This week's matchups, we have myself versus James. That's going to be a pretty close match, I think. We have Mike versus Milk. So that's going to be really tough for Malcolm, but he did put up a lot of points earlier on. 31 points more than he has ever put up in this league. So that's good for him. Good for him. Apparently, Tom Brady, got in his wheelchair and just managed to make something happen for him. So good job on Mike for getting that victory this week. We have Sean versus Nick. Both of which have been very active with trades and waivers and stuff like that. So it'll be really interesting to see if their team is the same now as it will be literally any time other than now this season. Then we have Dave versus Tyler. That's going to be another very close, very high-scoring game. It's a pair of teams that do not deserve to be at 2 and 3, and yet that's where they are. We have Matt S versus Doug. they're playing. It'll be an interesting game to see. And then finally, we have, I believe that's Matt M versus Jerry. Matt M, the bad luck guy. So congratulations on Jerry for putting up 170 points this week and winning, I guess. I mean, that's just how the pattern's been going. So good for you, Jerry. This week's game of the week, I have put on two guys who really have been underperforming, and if everyone starts for both teams, which I assume Kittle and Kamara are actually going to start, um, this is going to be a really fun game to watch. I think it's going to be very close, very high scoring, a lot of really good offensive players against very bad defenses. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Best of luck to both these teams, and yeah, because this is the point where if you lose this, you're going 2 games below 500 at about the halfway mark of the regular season. So it's a lot to climb out of to try to make the playoffs. So at this point, you want to start at least being at 500, and 2 games back is definitely about time you're going to start sweating that. Okay, I really got to make something happen. I really got to turn this around for this season. So the deal of the day, this is a new segment someone suggested in the chat. I basically break down what a trade that happened looks like, and which side I like more, how I think it's going to work out. So if you look at this trade, what we have is Mike getting David Montgomery, who has not looked very good in Chicago. Yes, he's played some good defenses. Yes, he's a rookie. Yes, Chicago isn't exactly a bustling offense, so they can kind of try to force whoever they have playing quarterback, Chase Daniels maybe, try to force him to throw instead of having him, by just stacking the box on the new guy. So, he's fine. He's like a RB3 with high-end RB2 upside probably. But for now, that is where he sits at, for me, Zach Ertz, who is a top 3 tight end, and then 2 throw-in flyer wide receivers who, could be great, could not be great. Now, to replace that top 3 wide receiver, he gets tight end rather. He gets Vance McDonald, who is serviceable. He's one of those guys that you can plug in. He's always going to be a top 12 in the rankings at this point because, safety blanket tight end, and he's on a team that should be okay at offense sometimes. And he's a big guy. He's a powerful guy. He might be able to pull down a touchdown from time to time, just bodying those smaller cornerbacks and safeties. He got Golden Tate, who is back apparently. He looked really good this in the game on Thursday. He ran around. He caught the ball. He was getting a lot of looks. The only issue with him is, you have Tate, Barkley, Engram, and then Shepard. Like, you have a lot of mouths to feed in that offense, and with a rookie quarterback, spreading targets out between 4+ targets, that's going to be really hard to have anybody really be sustainable week after week, or at least be reliable week after week. I do like Golden Tate, though. I really like his talent. It's just going to be hard for me to look at him as someone who's reliable, but I think he's the best wide receiver in this group. And then he also ended up getting Nick, that is, the best running back in the group in Mark Ingram. He's not looked great since week 3, which is really surprising because he looked absolutely phenomenal in the first 3 weeks. But he also had a pretty easy schedule to start the season, so maybe it's starting to catch up with him. Maybe other teams are starting to figure out how that offense works and how that quarterback works, as Lamar Jackson is a very unique specimen at quarterback. Overall, I picked this because I think it shows how people value certain positions, because definitely Nick got 2 players who were better than anything else on the other team besides Ertz, and he got a serviceable replacement for Ertz in Vance McDonald. But because of that position scarcity, because of the fact that you can only really look at 3 or 4, maybe 6 tops, if you're really stretching it, reliable tight ends that you can put in your lineup week in and week out, because there's so few of them, having one of those top guys is worth giving up a running back 2 who is fallen to that position. He was a running back 1 for the first 3 weeks. He looked absolutely unstoppable. And a guy who looks who is coming off of a suspension, it wasn't a health issue or anything like that, coming onto an offense that's missing a lot of weapons at the time. I mean, Golden Tate was in a really good situation for this weekend, in the event that Belichick decided to take something else away from them, and let Golden Tate kind of do his thing, and that's what happened. Golden Tate ended up being very, very good this week, but because of that position scarcity, he was willing to trade a very good running back 2 who's fallen on a couple hard weeks last 2 weeks for a running back 3 who isn't very good, but hey, he could be great soon. Who really knows? He's a rookie. He's got a bye week that he can kind of get himself together with. Maybe the offensive line gels a little better. He gets the starting quarterback back. That could be really good. And then 2 flyers at wide receiver. I mean, those are just kind of throw-ins. Maybe those were the bench drops. I'm not entirely sure how the trade went down. But I think this was a very good setup, just to show that sometimes you have to give up talent for position scarcity. And that's what I think. So I think both teams here, I think they both did things that are very helpful for their team, because Nick had a lot more holes in his team than Mike did. Mike basically said, I'm only really need one more piece to make my team look just elite top to bottom, and that's an elite tight end. And he was willing to trade away some very good players from his team to make that happen. And now his team is just stacked from top to bottom, and Nick's team has a lot of talent across the board. So I think this was a great trade for both teams. I think both teams won this trade, which is really hard to do. So great job, you guys. You both did very, very well. Now for my hot take of the week. Scalding hot take of the week. And as you can see, I picked a very fun meme of no, I'm Spider-Man, you're not Spider-Man. Hey, look, it's me, it's you, and you're me, and I'm you. So this has been something that a lot of people are saying. The Browns were an absolute train wreck for 20 seasons. They occasionally would they would sniff the playoffs, or they'd have an okay team on the back of an okay quarterback or something like that. And now they're looking like they're the same team. Bad quarterback play, not great offense doing anything right now. Defense getting kind of run over by other teams. So they're looking like they're back to their old ways. My hot take, it's an illusion. It's all an illusion. What is going on right now is you have some bad coaching, some bad play calling. You have a ton of talent on this team that if the coach can get the offensive line to solidify a little bit, if he can make some good play calls, things that get the ball out of Mayfield's hands a little bit quicker, because let's say, maybe if the offensive line is not as good as advertised and isn't able to stop anybody, get the ball out of his hands quick. You have talented receivers all over the field. You have a talented tight end who I think is still injured, but still a lot of talent on that team. Just get the ball out quickly on some quick slants. Make the defense play up a little bit. Work Nick Chubb as you have been, because running the ball will free up the pass eventually. And then you have OBJ, who is just an absolute mismatch on any single play. Run some really good, well-designed plays where you just get him one-on-one on a cornerback or a safety or something like that, and just have Mayfield throw it up to him and make a play. That's how that dude made his money on the Giants. And you have this great talent there. Use it. You have this great talent in Nick Chubb. Get him some space to run by making it so they can't play up, because you're occasionally just going to send OBJ on the side of a field by himself, make the safeties play up a little bit or something like that, and just dunk it over the top of the safety so it's one-on-one against the cornerback, and all of a sudden they can't play up anymore, so that frees it up for Nick Chubb. So they basically have to pick their poison at that point. And if they're gonna play in a way that they're kind of shadowing with 2 people on OBJ, and they're also playing a lot of people in the box, then you have Landry or Njoku, or you can set up a screen. There's a ton of different things that you can do. And if that offense can actually start doing that, and they can get out of the Stone Age and get Freddie Kitchens away from the clipboard, give it to somebody who actually knows what they're doing, I think this team is going to be really, really good. It can turn this thing around, and luckily it has the bye week next week to do that. So this week may not be great. They are playing against the Seattle defense that has been kind of gutted from the Legion of Boom that it used to be, this great defense that it was once. So they might be able to try something this week, and maybe they might get some momentum going into the bye week. I really hope that they do, because I really want to see this Browns team succeed. Because Malcolm's fantasy team isn't succeeding, and I really want him to have something for football this year. And now we're moving on to the rankings. But before we get there, let's jump into some stats. So these are the last 3 weeks. The first column is if somebody is the standard deviation for the last 3 weeks. So if it's really high, that obviously means that they're very spiky. They've been very, very good or very, very bad, and it's very hard to tell what they're doing. Lower numbers like Sean, like he's basically sitting around 130 every single week. So it's very easy to look at him and say, okay, I know about what he's going to score any given week. And this is despite a lot of movement from his team. The second column is your average points, pretty easy, and then your name and your rank. So, I have for example, I'm number 3, but I had a really, really good week 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I had a good week. Last week, I had a really bad week. So my standard deviation is very, very high, despite being very high up in the average points for. So these don't exactly directly translate into a team being good. It could just mean that a team did something really, really good for 1 week, and then it was garbage the rest of the time. That's why Nick's team is where it is, with it being very high up in the rankings, but has a very high standard deviation, which means it's not great. So let's get into the rankings. And at number 12, as you remember, we had Malcolm at number 13 before. Now number 12, we have Nick. Last week he was also number 12. And not a good start for this week, with him having Josh Gordon in and him getting hurt in that game. So he only had 1 target, 1 reception, 7 yards. Going to be tough to claw back from, but he does have a pretty talented team going into this game, with Mahomes and Hill and Henry and Gordon and Andrews and Kirk. A lot of very good players on that team. It's just going to be, hard for him to claw back, especially up against his opponent this week. So the reason his team is this low, despite having all this talent, is I'm not exactly buying into all of the talent. Tyreek Hill still could be suspended at any time. He is very slow to come back from this injury, and as he is a very quick twitch athlete, a very speedy athlete, you see this happen over people's careers when they come into the league, and their whole thing is they're fast, they're quick, they can break tackles, they can make people miss, they can just burn somebody. Once they get a couple injuries, their play starts to slow down. The league starts to be able to catch up to them because their body can't do that insane stuff it was able to do before. So if he ends up coming back from this injury and he's just not quite the same, even if it's only for a couple games, that's going to really hurt his team. Mahomes, same thing. He's an insane athlete. His upper body is absolutely phenomenal. The way he's able to sling the ball around when he's like jumping through the air and stuff, dude's absolutely a freak. He plays the game at a level that I don't think anyone else is playing at right now. However, with that ankle thing, yeah, if it's even bothering him just a little bit, that little bit of mobility could be a problem. He could start feeling pressure that isn't there. Start ducking underneath ghosts that he think are blitzing him or coming at him, even though they're not there. This week he could go up against Houston, absolutely slaughter them, and I can go, okay, that wasn't true. That didn't have working out. Nick rises a little bit in the rankings, but then I could go on. Melvin Gordon, what are they going to run him into the ground? Are they going to try to save him for the playoffs? They have Eckler, who's been really, really good. Who knows? Derrick Henry, dude's been really good this season, but he's also Derrick Henry. We've seen him be both Jekyll and Hyde at times. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep this up. If he is, then great. He'll be a one of the top picks next year. Probably he'll probably be at the top 2 rounds. But is he there? Is this it? Is he making it happen? And he also plays with Mariota. Eventually, they're just going to say, fine, we're going to make Marcus Mariota or Ryan Tannehill beat us. They're not going to be able to. They're going to be able to shut down Henry, and they're not going to be able to throw the ball. Eventually, someone's going to figure that out. And like I said, Andrews, he's good. He's one of those top 6 guys when he's playing, so that's fine. But then Kirk, Drake, everyone else on his bench, I don't know. Kirk could be really good if Arizona ends up clicking and they get into a rhythm. He could be absolutely phenomenal, but I haven't seen that yet. So I just think Nick's team has a lot of very talented players, but also a lot of question marks right now. And also, his team just feels not great to me at this time. In a couple weeks, I might be eating my words about this, saying bad things about Henry and Gordon and everybody. But this is just how I feel about this at this time. So then we jump up to number 9. Because I don't think I organized these. So that's... oh, no. Oh, no, that's not good. All right. Technical difficulties. Please hold. All right. So we had you there. And then, okay, so that was that. So that's fine. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. I think I have you. You're there. Yep. And then, so that's... So you're to there. You're to there. 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 There? Right? Okay. Oof. Alright. I did all the rankings, and then I just kind of hecked them all up. My apologies. So at number 10, we have Jerry. So he is still in that bottom tier, but, I think he has a really good chance of breaking out of there, especially because his team seems to be getting a little better and a little better every single week. I think this is probably his last week being in the double-digit rankings. Philip Rivers is continuing to play very well at this time. He's got a lot of weapons on his team, so it's not really that surprising. He has Jones and Cooper, who are both probably going to finish, if I had to guess, rest of season as top 5 wide receivers. I mean, they're both absolutely phenomenal talents. Chris Carson has appeared to be able to lock down that job, despite the fact that, Penny and a lot of other people really want it with all of his fumbles. And if he's going to have that job in a really powerful offense out in Seattle, then good for him. He has got that figured out. The running back 2 spot is a little bit scary right now for Jerry, just because Todd Gurley, I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, the dude could be great, but if he's going to be hurt and he's missing time for a bruise, now it could be like a deep tissue bruise where it's like it hurts the run. And I'm not going to fault the guy for not playing on that. I probably wouldn't be able to play if I stubbed my toe earlier in the day, let alone played an actual game of football. I'd probably last one down. But, if he can fill that running back 2 spot with Todd Gurley at his potential, this team's absolutely shooting up the ranks. It's just right now he's a little bit scary because I don't know what Gurley's issue is, and I don't know how long he's going to be out for. But that's just how it ends up going, and I think it's fine. A little sad you don't have the backup, Malcolm Brown, but that's just how it ends up going. But you do have like James White and a couple other people that you can fill in for, so I'm sure you can make it work. Preston Williams in the flex spot, I absolutely love it. Fins up, dude. We're gonna make this happen. We're gonna win a week and we're gonna lose Tua because of it, but it's fine. I'll take it. And the rest of your team I think is pretty good too. You have Greg Olsen, who should definitely be in your tight end spot and not on the bench. I think the dude's absolutely gonna go off this week. Especially going across the pond and playing against a bad defense. I think he's just going to run around and be crazy good. But hey, whatever, do you. And then you also have a lot of talent on your bench at wide receiver. Like I was saying, Juice, I hate him. He's a bad man, but good football player. You got Nelson Aguilar down there. So you can really kind of fill in that flex spot, even with James White once Gurley's back, with a lot of talent. I just need to see it for a week or two. So I can really, really, really feel confident. But I think 10 is probably a little bit too low even right now. You probably should be higher than that. But that's where I'm going to leave you for now. Moving on, we have the B class, and we have Doug at number 9, staying where he was from last week. So Doug's team probably should be below Jerry's, honestly, but I'm going to leave it at 9 for now. Just based on the fact that if he can have these players perform at the level that they have been performing and that they should be performing, I really don't like going that way. I like going with how I feel about the players, but you really can't argue with people like Julian Edelman, and he's been really, really good. Philip Lindsay's been really good. Disley's been really good. Fitzgerald's been really good, and then you have Connor and Moore and Rogers, who should all be very, very good talents, very top talents. And then he's got Saquon on the bench, who he could be back as early as next week, and because he's an absolute freak of nature. But again, it's one of those things, like I said before, where if he's beating people with his speed in some cases, having an ankle injury might slow him down a little bit. That cut might take an extra tenth of a second or something like that, and that could be enough for that arm tackle that he normally breaks not to get broken. Now, he can also beat you with power. He can also beat you a number of different ways. So who knows how it's gonna end up working. But Doug is at number 9 because he has a lot of talent that is doing very well. But at the same time, when I look at it, it is scary. Because Rodgers has not been as good as he should have been. I think the same thing can be said about Moore and Connor. Lindsay has Royce Freeman slowly creeping up on him. And if that becomes a real timeshare, they're splitting downs about 50-50, but Lindsay is still getting a lot more of the touches. If they start giving Freeman a little bit more work, because he has been very good when he has been getting work, that could be a two-headed giant that you do not want to be a part of. And, Fitzgerald's really old. Disley, we've never seen this from him before, but if this is how he's going to be, he'll be great. So, a lot of question marks for Doug, but that's just how it goes. And number 8, we have Sean. Last week I had him at number 2. And since then, I've had to just absolutely tank his rating because, and it's nothing really he did. It's things like Evan Ingram being out. That's not great, and that's going to hurt him a lot. Which means that he has to do things like start Ricky Seals-Jones. No bueno. He has Damian Williams in, who I think is eventually going to lose his job. Miles Sanders, who currently doesn't have the job. Chris Godwin is the number 1 in Tampa Bay, but I don't know for how long. I mean, they still have Mike Evans. If they want to make Chris Godwin number 1, then that's great. Make him number 1. Use him for the whole season. But I'm not sure if that's what they're doing, or if they're just saying people are going to go after Mike Evans, so Godwin's going to be always open, and they're both super talented. So all it might take is people saying, okay, let's put the coverage on Godwin instead of Evans, like we saw 2 weeks ago when Godwin got nothing and Evans got a ton. We could just have these great weeks like that. So I'm not sure how it's going to end up working out like that, though. So that's just kind of it for now. Deshaun Watson put on an absolute clinic last week, but I don't know if that was just a really bad defense or what. It'll be interesting to see how he fares this week against Kansas City, coming off of that insane game. And then he has, he has some good players on his bench, like Marlon Mack. Definitely is a running back that is starting every week. He's just on bye right now. And he's definitely a top 10 running back in my opinion. I love the guy, but yeah, it's just one of those things where his team has a lot of players like that are very good, but at the same time, he also has some Gallup is very good. Godwin's been absolutely insane. He has Deshaun Watson, that's great, but then he has only one running back that's any good in Marlon Mack. Evan Ingram might be out for a while. Who knows how that's going to end up working out? And that means he has a running back slot, a tight end slot, and a flex slot that are all not good. And if Michael Gallup ends up getting, maybe a little bit more respect, a little bit more film study by the defensive backs on the other team, I don't know if he's going to be able to keep it up. And there's always the possibility that Dak could just go all in on Cooper on a given week, and he could just end up just not really being a thing. If they're just constantly beating coverage with him, who is the number 1 on their team. So, but I do like a lot of their talent on this team. It's not really doing anything right now, and I really don't like Damian Williams or Miles Sanders as a running back. So he's very, very lucky he has Marlon Mack for now. At number 7, we have Matt S. He moves up 1 spot from last week. Starting Kirk Cousins is not great, but it's a thing that's happening, and as such, good for you, dude. You got him, I guess. You have Drew Brees and you have Josh Allen. Those both, I think, are very good people to have on your team. It's just that you can't play either of them right now, so got to make do with what you got going on. I think Kirk Cousins up against a very bad Philly defense, especially at home, I think it's going to give you a decent chance this week. Now, the rest of your team, I really like. Le'Veon Bell, I think, is going to get a lot better now that you have Sam Darnold back. You have Robert Woods, who I think is going to go off this week up against San Francisco, and he is not clearly the a very, very good wide receiver on a very good team, at least at home. I think Goff is slowly is beginning to show this year that he's a little bit more like Drew Brees, where he's a lot better at home than he is away. But it'll be interesting to see how that ends up working out long term. You have Mike Evans, who I talked about earlier, where it's like, well, where's the coverage going to be if they're covering Mike Evans? They'll go somewhere else, blah, blah, blah. And then you have an issue, but this is where the issue started to show up. At your running back 2 spot, who are you starting on any given week? Is it Chris Thompson? I mean, he's getting a lot of catches, but with this new regime coming in, it sounds like they want to just pound the ball with Adrian Peterson. So I'm not entirely sure if Chris Thompson's in the cards for that. The other people you have is like Tevin Coleman, who is definitely in a committee out in San Francisco. So is that a reliable starter? Sony Michel's in the worst committee in the world in New England, and after not being able to convert in that last game on I think 3 attempts of less than 3 yards for a first down, they basically refused to give him any goal line work or anything for the rest of the game. So that's really rough for Sony Michel, and especially when Burkhead gets back, maybe Sony Michel would just lose his job. He'll be on the inactive list, and they'll be putting Burkhead in instead. I think Michel is definitely the younger, better talent, but if he can't convert, then, I mean, I don't really know what to do. So you do have a little bit of a rough spot in that running back 2 spot. Now, right now, you're great. You have Malcolm Brown, and if Gurley's going to be out for a long term, or he's not going to be the same, Malcolm Brown's going to be great. But, that's just how I feel about that. For your tight end, though, you have Austin Hooper, and he's been playing very, very well. He's in that, 6 or 7 guys you can rely on any given week. And then you have an issue, though, again, with your wide receiver 3 of who are you starting on any given week. You have a lot of people who can be good in good matchups, but, Will Fuller, is he reliable, or is he just, 50 points or nothing on any given week? But, you do have John Brown, and if Auden Tate becomes a thing, MVS if he becomes a thing, so you do have some good players. It's just a little bit spooky looking at your team right now, but in a couple weeks, I could be looking at this team saying it's absolutely insane because Coleman's taken over that spot. You have Drew Brees back. Hooper continues to perform, and then you can basically just slap somebody into your flex, and I'll be really happy with what your team looks like. At number 6, we have Dave. He moves up a spot as well. He's in a very interesting position because his team looks phenomenal top to bottom. I do not see a player on this team who should not be rostered. I don't see a player on this team who should not be started in a lot of situations. He has an absolutely insanely good team. It's just something in my gut says it's not quite ready. Now, after this week, he could easily be a top 2-3 team, so look out for that. But right now, I'm just not quite ready to give him that big bump that I think he deserves. He should definitely at least be in the A class. If I'm not in the A class yet, then Dave, just pretend you're in the A class. Because what you have going on right now is you have an absolutely insane, phenomenal player in Lamar Jackson. You have Tyler Boyd, who's the number 1 for Cincinnati, and that's always been really good for Green, and I think Boyd is also making that work. Courtland Sutton's come on, and he's been absolutely phenomenal. I feel really bad for talking shit about him earlier in the season when people were trying to trade him to me, or me to him. I would have loved to have had him at this point, but hey, that's just how it goes sometimes. And looking at the rest of your receivers, you have Hollywood Brown, Alshon Jeffrey, Tyrell Williams. Those are 3 really, really good wide receivers that would be starting on several teams, and yet you just have them sitting on your bench. And you don't even have to use them in your flex because you have 3 absolutely phenomenal running backs. Alvin Kamara, who is a top 3 running back, top 4 running back right now. Mark Ingram, who is absolutely phenomenal, and Devontae Freeman, who, fun fact, really good at football. Now, a lot of people are worried about Devontae Freeman right now. They're saying he's a good sell-high candidate because they don't think he's going to be able to do well for the next few games, and they're afraid his value is going to drop off. I'm kind of zigging on that when others are zagging on that when others are zigging and trying to sell. I think Devontae Freeman is a very good talent. And yes, Ito Smith is eating into him a little bit. Yes, they have good wide receivers, so he's not going to get everything. But I still think that he is a decent player, and he is definitely going to get a lot of touches and work. And I think that's really, really important for any running back. Getting work, getting touches, goal line, stuff like that. I think he's going to make that work for him. And then, you have George Kittle as your tight end, who's absolutely phenomenal. And then who do you have on your bench? Okay, so you have your handcuffer, Mark Ingram. That's really smart. You have Kyler Murray, who against the right matchup could be phenomenal to have. You can switch him and out for Lamar Jackson if they for matchups and stuff like that. And then you have Kareem Hunt, who's coming off of that suspension soon, and you can just, if he ends up becoming the guy in Cleveland because something happens to Chubb in the meantime, or they decide that they want to have some kind of nonsense going on, your team's going to be absolutely great. And you can always sell Kareem Hunt if anything happens to Chubb for a king's ransom because everyone's going to be drooling over him. Because we saw how good he was last year, and everyone's going to assume he's going to do the same thing in Cleveland. So, Dave, I'm sorry your team's at 6. It probably should be higher. It probably should be ahead of this jabroni right here. That's me. So yeah, last week I was at number 3. I dropped down a few spots because my team is just crumbling on me. I don't know what my issue is with my trading and stuff like that. I just seem like I'm just constantly hemorrhaging players that are very good for talent that I think is going to be very good and then ends up not being. And when people are trying to trade for players that I should be selling high on, I hold them because I'm buying into that hype myself, and it's not working out for me. So, I think my main issue right now is I'm buying on the hype and the name value for some players, like Shady, Diggs, Beckham, stuff like that, and I'm not willing to part with them for a reasonable value, which is really, really bad because it's resulting in me just being absolutely trash. The last week when I was really, really good 2 weeks ago. So that's not great. And it's not even like I'm making bad trades. I'm just making trades that, maybe I'm just buying into hype or something and something bad's going my way. And then on top of all of that, even some of the players I've drafted that are very, very good just aren't performing as well as they should be, such as Davante Adams. Drafted him. He should be a top 2 wide receiver on the season. Instead, he's out this week with a toe injury. He was out last week with a toe injury. He underperformed in a few other games against really good defenses, mind you, but he still underperformed in them. So it's just a combination of bad luck in the draft, buying into hype and name recognition, and putting myself in a position where, the strength of my team 2 weeks ago was I had a really good quarterback in Matt Ryan, a really good tight end. I had some good wide receivers going on with Davante Adams. I had good running backs going on. I had, McCoy and Mark Ingram and stuff like that, and those guys were just absolutely killing it. And now my team's just kind of falling apart. Now, hopefully this is just a lull and I can recover. Maybe this week will be the week OBJ breaks out. Maybe this will be a Stephon Diggs week against the Philly defense is absolutely garbage. But, knowing my luck, it'll be the week that Zeke gets hurt or, maybe they'll just end up making Shady inactive and I'll just be absolutely devastated and sad and not really know what to do with myself at this point. Or, hey, what's most likely to happen? Hawkinson has been everyone's saying, "Oh, he's gonna start. He's on his way back. He's got a real good shot at playing." And then he could just not make it out of the concussion protocol, or something could happen early on in the game, and I'm just sitting there on Monday night like I just need 3 points from Hawkinson, and he catches a pass for 10 yards, and he's out for the rest of the day. Like, I've just been having a combination of user error and bad luck, and that might be spelling my doom. But I am above 500 right now. I do already have 3 wins and 2 losses. So even with a loss this week, I'm not out of it. I might have to start playing rebuild mode, start chasing some people who can be good in the long run by sacrificing people who are good in the short run. Maybe having to sell Zeke for parts, maybe having to just kind of make something happen. Who knows? But for now, I think my team is good enough to stay up in the top half, but after this week, if people don't start performing like Diggs and Beckham, and even if Shady just continues to just sit on the bench and be absolutely garbage, I think I'm in a real bad position. So there I am at number 6 because I moved Dave up to number 5 in my head. At number 4 we have James. James moves up 2 positions. He was at number 6 last week. And I think he is just doing a very, very good job of managing his team. Basically the opposite of me. He keeps trading for players that are very good and that are going to continue to perform. So we traded away Zeke, and what did he get for it? He got back Aaron Jones. I think that was a very smart move because Zeke is Zeke. I mean, he's a stud, but if you can trade him for like Aaron Jones, I think he got like Galladay too. I mean, you traded one starter for two very good starters, and that makes your wide receiver core look very good with Galladay and Lockett. Yeah, your wide receiver 3 is T.Y. Hilton, but it looks like Brissett is really beginning to feel himself right now. He's getting really good, and he's going to be coming out of a bye next week. Like, he's going to come out of a bye, and I think T.Y. Hilton is just going to be like, awesome, just feed me, dude. And they're going to make that work, and they're going to be very, very good for the future of the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm very excited to see T.Y. Hilton in your flex just for the rest of the season. That's really scary to say. Plus, not to mention the fact that you'll only have one bye left for your wide receivers, so you're pretty much set there with that. That's really good. And then your running backs, as I mentioned earlier, you have Aaron Jones now, who looks like he's just the number one with a bullet in Green Bay, and he has absolutely been killing it out there. And then, you also have this guy, Dalvin Cook, who is, definitely like a top 3 running back this year, so that's phenomenal. Your only real weak spot is at tight end, but you can stream tight ends. You can make that work. That's why I couldn't move you up any higher. And you're not great at quarterback, but I think between Wentz and Goff and maybe picking someone up off of waivers if you really need it, I think you can make that work and really make that spot, be a 20, 25 points per game for you. So, James, you're doing really, really good. I really like your team. The fact that it has such a poor record, and I think you're one game under 500 right now, and the fact that you are last in points for with a high probability that you're being consistent with that, I think that's garbage. I think you're a very, very talented team, and I love you at number 4 here. At number 3, we have Matt M. Man, dude, you've just been running into bad, bad, bad luck, but your team is absolutely phenomenal, and I love it. You now have David Johnson and his backup, so if something ends up happening to DJ, you have the handcuff. You can just slam him in. So you didn't need to play Hillman this week, who is, I'm pretty sure, already been cut. If not, he's going to get cut real soon. Yeah, that didn't go well for him. But you also have like Kerryon Johnson, Adam Thielen, Michael Thomas, Dak Prescott, DJ Chark. Like, your team is just full of super, super talented players. Like, you're the closest we have so far in this list to like a God squad where it's just top to bottom. I can't really find a hole in it. The only thing that's holding you back, and it's really not holding you back that much, is Vance McDonald and Waller being your tight ends. But you can play matchups with that, and you can make that work. Like I said with James before in his quarterback situation. But yeah, your team is absolutely loaded top to bottom. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I would trade teams with you in a second. But for now, I think you just have a really good team. So great job, Matt. Keep up the good work. I mean, you just, I think a lot of where you got your team where it is today is, good moves here and there, but absolutely killing it with that trade against Malcolm when you ended up getting Thomas and Barkley, and then being able to flip Barkley for a lot of very, very good players. Like, I think it was Thielen and Kerryon Johnson you got off of him for that. You also got DJ Chark off of me for Stephon Diggs, when I thought that Chark was more of a flash in the pan. Come to find out, he has absolutely looked legit. Stephon Diggs, I think, is, I was hoping he'd get traded or something. They're saying it's not going to, so now I'm sad about that. Really hoping he'd wind up in New England and take over that Antonio Brown role, but hey, here we are. But yeah, I really, really like what you got going on with your team, so keep up the good work, dude. And then we get up to the S-Class, and there's really only, it's very obvious who the top 2 have to be. Number 1 has to be Tyler. His team is the first, I guess, God squad. I mean, of the 2. I mean, Matt Ryan has been playing like a top 5 quarterback the last couple of weeks, so he's definitely moved his way up there. And he has one of his targets in Calvin Ridley. Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler have looked absolutely phenomenal. Now, Eckler, a lot of people are saying, he's going to lose a lot of touches and stuff like that. I think they're going to go more of an RBBC. And I think Eckler has definitely proven that he deserves to be out there on the field and doing what he's doing. And you never know. They could always get a phone call from somebody if, one of these big contenders has a running back go down and they really need a running back. they could always get a phone call and they can say, hey, we'll trade for Gordon. We'll give him his big contract. We'll make him happy. We'll give you, a second round pick or something like that. Because they're not going to give up. They're not going to trade him for worse than a second. Because I think they're going to get a third compensatory pick no matter what out of him. So, and then that leaves Eckler wide open. Oh, and you also have Fournette on your team. That's really freaking good. Juju Smith-Schuster, if he ends up becoming a thing again, he's just been kind of rough the last few weeks, but if he bounces back, that's phenomenal. You got Travis Kelce and Hunter Henry, who might be playing this week. AJ Green might be back in a week or two. Golden Tate looks legit now. Like, you have an absolutely phenomenal team. It just can't touch Mike. I mean, you look top to bottom on this team, he just has so much good stuff going on. Like, he has, like, Russell Wilson, who's absolutely popping off. He's got Hopkins and Kupp, who are very good. You don't even need to worry about who else he has at running back, because having CMC, who's putting up 40 points a week, I don't know if that's ever going to come down. He is their entire offense right now. It's absurd. And I don't even know how you can defend him at this point. It's just bonkers. So you have him, but then you also have like Breida, who, yeah, RBBC. Adrian Peterson, yeah, he's geriatric. But I don't care about the rest of your running backs because you have CMC, and that basically makes up for anything else you have going on. As long as you can get 5 points out of your other running back, you're probably scoring in the top 3 or 4 per week at running back because you have CMC there, and he's just such a difference maker. So just to clarify my thoughts on this, in the S class, we have Tyler, who I think is a more complete squad, top to bottom, and we have Mike, who just has some absolutely huge difference makers with some of the players he has. So it's really hard to say which team is better. For now, I'm going to err on the side of Mike, but I think both teams are absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, so I love them both. I would take either of them in a second, but sadly, I'm stuck with the team that I have, which probably shouldn't even be in the A class. It should honestly be in the B class at number 6. Again, sorry, Dave. So that is it for this week. My voice is absolutely shot. I've been talking for almost 2 hours at you guys. So I will see you guys next time. And thank you guys all for stopping by on the YouTube, as I think that's where everyone's going to be this week. But again, it was late. I understand you guys. Y'all have lives. So enjoy the show in the morning, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.